What is your mission?
Operation Anthropoid.
What is Anthropoid?
We are here to assassinate Reinhard Heydrich.
He's executed thousands.
Only Hitler is above him in the Nazi hierarchy.
Are you completely mad?
You kill Heydrich, and Hitler will tear Prague apart.
The question we have to ask ourselves is this: is our country ready and willing to resist Nazi Germany?
I think anybody with sort of a cursory knowledge of World War II sort of knows this story. But what did you guys sort of discover upon reading the script and doing your research about this mission?
I'll plead total ignorance. I didn't know about this particular piece of history. I would say that my Second World War history in general is too sketchy. It's certainly been improved upon making this movie. But I really, and Cillian didn't either, we didn't know about this operation, which is kind of criminal considering how important it was within the Second World War and what a massive impact it had going forward. But you know, certainly a story that you couldn't fail to be instantly taken by and affected by.
Was there anything that kind of surprised you about like sort of what the guys went through to get this done?
Well, I mean, it's kind of unfathomable, isn't it, really, what they had to do? And for me, the most interesting thing was the psychology of thinking that you had failed, because effectively it goes wrong badly, and then he only dies later. But then the reprisals that happen are just unthinkable, you know, and having to try and live with that. Not now with sort of like 70 years later, we can go, okay, that happened and that happened, and now it changed the course of history. But those guys were just in it at that time, having to deal with that sense of guilt. Really, was kind of, it was immutable. There was not, they couldn't go back, and then I find that very interesting study, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and also, and you kind of followed this up directly with Dunkirk. Like, how do you think the two sort of directorial viewpoints of this era sort of differed?
Well, first of all, like I made Anthropoid a year ago and did many things in the meantime, and I had no idea I was going to be doing another Second World War film, you know, a year later. I think it just shows you why the Second World War remains such a fruitful place for writers and time for writers and directors. And I think Chris Nolan's take will be very special. Yeah.
I had a teacher in high school whose husband was involved in the operation.
Oh, really?
And she told me to go watch this movie called Operation Daybreak.
Right.
Have you ever seen that one?
Of course, yeah.
What did you think of that movie, and like how did you want Anthropoid to be different from that movie? Because that was much more of an old school type of Hollywood.
There is, and there's a few other movies that have been made about the operation, and there was a Czech film called Attentat that was made in '65, a black and white one. But Operation Daybreak is something I'd seen, and I'd seen it after I'd seen a documentary about it, and I was in the middle of my research, and then obviously I found that this Operation Daybreak was made, so I watched it. And, you know, I actually like Operation Daybreak. You know, it's very dated, but there's still the power there. And basically, you know, I think in a weird way, I kind of thought, well, since 1975, there's 2 or 3 generations that have gone by and don't know this story. And so in a weird way, I kind of felt that it was ripe to sort of retell it for a new generation.
If we fail, I fear freedom will be wiped from the map.